All right, welcome back to the Randy Forcier podcast. This week, I have Kate from the Kaden channel on YouTube joining me. She's a financial YouTuber. We have a great conversation about her start in YouTube, what she draws inspiration from, some of the things she's learned in her time on YouTube, and her plans for the future. It's a great conversation, something I'm very fascinated about. As always, if you can do me a favor and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that would be very helpful. Follow the page on YouTube. Also subscribe and like any video that you see. I really appreciate it. So hope you enjoy. Thanks. All right. Hey, Kate. Thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Hi, Randy. So good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thanks for taking time to come on today. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
So I wanted to have you on because as I'm growing my YouTube podcast presence, you're already way ahead of me at this point. So you have a Kaden YouTube channel with 33,000 subscribers. What the heck is going on? It's awesome.
Oh, it has been so fun. The reason I started this, I started back in 2019 and I'd become a single parent and I was thinking like, okay, obviously I'm not the first one on the planet here. Like, let's see what other people are doing, like regarding like finances, how to make ends meet, etc. And I actually found that there wasn't a ton of information. There wasn't like a lot of people sharing it, but there were a few. And I was like, oh, this is so great. And I would just like absorb it. And then I kind of started just learning about frugal living, budgeting, and saving money. And people were like, well, how are you doing this? And I thought, I've got some tips I could share. So that's kind of where it started.
Yeah. I would imagine for people to be successful in YouTube, it's talking about things that they're passionate about, things that are in their life, and that's what it was a part of your life and continues to be. And it makes sense to translate that into a YouTube channel. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, things are weird right now. Obviously, we've had a global pandemic. Yeah. We've got recession scariness, we've got inflation, there's like I mean, all that is kind of at a point right now, so people are coming to the channel for the juice. They need the details, Randy. They need to know, like, hey, what's the best way to budget? How can I save money right now? Because it's scary.
Now, at this point, how do you come up with the content that you're going to produce on a weekly basis, right? You're doing weekly videos, so is it just stuff that really is at this point a part of your life? Are you actively searching out like finance tips? Like what's the thought process behind all that stuff?
There's a couple different things. The first thing that I tuned into is what I'm currently experiencing. So I figure if I'm experiencing it, my audience probably is. I'm very tuned in to what they leave me in the comments. I always encourage my audience to leave me comments. So I read them all and I react to them. So based on just comments alone, that can really create lots of content because they have lots of questions, they have lots of good discussion topics, and they truly need help. So I pay attention to the comments, and the other thing is I'll go live. If I'm feeling like they're feeling real stressed, I'll go on for 2 hours.
I was looking at one of them, I was thinking it was, where is it? It was 2 hours and 45 minutes or something along those lines that you went live, and I was like, oh my God, that gave me anxiety just thinking about being live for that long. And what if no one shows up? What if it's like crickets for 15 minutes at a time, but you're able to fill the time?
It totally can happen, but I normally would say I have like about 100 to 200 people in there at once. So the questions usually just keep coming, and I get really lucky because most of the time I don't tell them I'm coming on. So I will just pop on randomly when I get the moment. Like if Kaden's with his dad or with his grandparents, I'm like, you know what? I've got some time. And I'll just go on and then it just begins. And yeah, there could be nobody, but it never has happened.
Well, I noticed like when I go on YouTube and I see people that I follow that are live, it shows right at the top. It's very clear when someone's live, it kind of sticks out. So I'm sure if you have enough followers, which you do, that people will see that and be drawn to it. So it makes me think, this is great. Obviously, I'm nowhere near the point where I would be ready to do this with whatever small amount of subscribers that I have, but it all starts someplace. So you obviously started at a point back in, you said, I think 2019 off air. So 3 years later, you've amassed this great following of 33,000 people. How did that happen?
Well, I think you're doing the right thing. For me, I committed to doing one video a week, rain or shine. Like, no matter what. Fridays, it turned into Frugal Fridays. And my audience, we all know Friday morning I'm coming on. Unless it's a holiday. Like, if it's Christmas morning, I don't want you watching my video. I want you to go have fun with your family.
Yeah.
But if not.
So you'll post a different, if Christmas fell on a Friday, you would post a different day instead. Thursday or Saturday.
Either that, I would probably either do a community post that says, hey guys, it's Christmas, go be with your family. I'll do like one a day or two later or something like that. But more than likely, Christmas is off limits, and I usually, well, actually Thanksgiving last year was Black Friday. Perfect time for me to come alive with a video on Black Friday.
Absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, I'll do it on another day, but it's Friday. So every single week they're getting a video. So if you're trying to build your following, I would commit to once a week if you can, which right now, are you at once a week-ish?
Every Monday.
Every Monday.
I've been consistent since I started, and I try to plan far enough ahead that it's a non-issue for me. So, but that's the plan. Any more than once a week, I think, would be stretching a little bit thin.
There has been a point, Randy, where I was doing 2 plus a live every week. It's too much. It's a little too much. I have a full-time job. I'm also a choreographer and dance teacher. I'm a full-time single mom. So, wow. So that was a little bit much. I pushed the boundaries to see, but honestly, 2 videos a week is better if you can, but I'm not doing that. So right now it's once a week.
So 1 week, building consistency, audience knows what to expect, and then you just did that for a period of time. Did the growth become exponential at some point? I mean, like, was it very small growth over time, and then something happened where it just kind of shot right up? Or has it just been consistent growth?
The first year was awesome because sometimes, for YouTube, for you to be monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time before you can start making money through the ads, right? And in my first, I started in January. I got monetized in April 1st, and honestly, I thought they were playing an April Fool's joke on me because I was told it could take a year or more, So I was very thrilled. So the first year, we got to 10,000 subscribers, which was a big deal. Yeah. And then after, this is a long story. I won't get it. In a long story short,
I love it.
My channel is about frugal living, budgeting, and saving money. And in the month of December in 2019, I decided to do Vlogmas, which is a video every day. Randy, what was I thinking? That's the first question.
How long did that last?
I completed it. The problem with this that I didn't realize, so just so you know, the smarter thing would have, I could have done it, but I would have had to stay on topic for 30 days or 25 days. I instead was sharing stuff about my family. We were making cookies. I was showing them how I wrap my presents. I wasn't staying on the topic. I was veering off, and the YouTube algorithm was like, what do I do with this? I don't know who to share this with. I don't know what to do. And it screwed up the algorithm for me for literally the whole beginning of 2020.
I didn't realize how in-depth that technology is, to the point that the algorithm's analyzing the words in your video and deciding to limit it or promote it based on that and what you're supposed to know. That just kind of blows my mind.
It's way crazier than I ever anticipated and some people might say, no, that wasn't the problem. But I honestly think of what I've learned later is that people that are looking for frugal living, budgeting, and saving, they're going to watch these videos if it's about that. If it's not, they might not unsubscribe, but there might be like, nah, I don't care about this. So they'll just skip it. And if your core audience doesn't watch your videos, they won't push it out to anybody else because why would they? It's indicating it's a dud. So,
which is when I feel the path I'm going down. sweet.
for your videos, Randy, like you want to get as many signals, likes, comments, watching your podcast from start to finish. Like if your wife is watching, if your family's watching, tell them watch it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Or let it play, even if they're like zoned out doing something else.
No, I'm good. Yeah, just leave it on in the background. So that
because when they click out, it indicates the viewer has lost interest.
Yeah. Now, your topic, I think, is a good topic to gain subscribers and momentum in that sense, right? Like, people are interested in what you have to say. I'm just some generalist doing a podcast talking to a bunch of different random people that the only unifying thought is that they're somewhat in business for themselves or, have some type of advice that they bring to the table. So I feel like that's a little bit harder of a sell for random people, but who cares? I mean, it's not like I'm trying to turn to Joe Rogan or get 1 million subscribers. It's just something
that
I'm
cool?
I do want to have some growth, though. So there, to the degree that I can, given what this is, I do want to put myself in a position to at least grow. That's just how I am, I guess.
Of course, and look, it'll be so great to see your following slowly start to grow, and then like when you reach these milestones, you're gonna be like, oh, this is so great. Like, I mean, I already know you. We know each other. But like when I was like, oh, Randy's that's so cool, and I would just watch because you know what I mean? Like I know who you are, and then I was like, oh, well, let me see what else, who you're promoting, and that's just a very exciting thing to get like people's stories out to other people, and all people involved in business.
My hope would be that people would see new podcasts come out on Monday, and if it's not something that fits their taste or their interest, they just stay subscribed and see who the next person is, and in time, more and more things hopefully will fall in line with what they're looking for. I am kind of mixing it up. I'm doing a NFL podcast with Beds to start the NFL season, so that's going to kind of throw a curveball into what the topics have typically been, but trying to have fun with it. So we're recording.
Podcast? Is that
it is,
right
just because. Yeah,
because it's all right here. Oh well, I'll watch that because you guys will be hilarious.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. We're recording that tomorrow. But so 80% of the time it's people like yourself or business owners, and then that like 20% of the time it might be something fun where we're talking pop culture, talking sports. I'm still trying to find the voice. But
well, let me tell you this. This is something you might. I haven't watched. I clicked around, of course, when I knew I was coming here, and obviously just as you started, especially when I talked with Karen first, and so I was like, oh, well, let me. But this is something I'll tell you. I don't know how you'd incorporate it necessarily. Hopefully, people are gonna watch because they want to have just an experience and enjoy it. But any way that you can add value, any way, like if there's any way that you can get out of your guests, like some kind of value, some kind of tip, some kind of quote, some kind of something that they walk away and they go, oh.
Yeah.
That I can't wait to see the next one because I want to know what that next person, because that's why people come to me. They enjoy my personality hopefully later on, or maybe it drew them in at first, but they're not sticking around for my personality. Some are,
they're getting some value out of it, for sure.
They want the goods, Randy. So that's like, if there's any way to incorporate the goods, even though you're having this pleasant experience, like that will keep them coming back, I think.
Yeah. And I do try to ask my guests that, and I will get to that with you at some point. I know exactly what I want to ask you. But that's been something I've been trying to make a point of asking, and then when I'm promoting the podcast, I've been promoting the podcast through clips a few days before, and I sometimes use that advice piece as part of that clip to promote it. And I don't know, I'm still figuring out the best way to do it, but that seems to resonate with at least some people. So that's good advice, though. So thanks for mentioning that. As far as inspirations for you, like, are there any YouTuber people that you looked up to when you started doing this that you aspired to be like, or still even refer to maybe on your own?
Yes, there's many frugal living channels out there that inspired me. But you know what? Here's one that you'll recognize probably, but this whole thing probably started because of Dave Ramsey. You know who Dave Ramsey is?
Definitely.
Dave Ramsey, there's pros and cons. However, there was a book that he wrote called The Total Money Makeover.
Okay.
And when I read that, I listened to the audiobook. This was back when I lived in Maine for a long time. I went to college in Florida, came back to Maine, froze my tail off. I'm like, what am I doing up here? Went back to Florida, and then finally in 2014, I have resurfaced here in Maine, and this is where I belong.
Yeah.
And when I listened to that audiobook, I was like,
it clicked with
like,
you. Yeah.
All the bells were going off. It was amazing. And he has, like, in the YouTube world, hashtag debt-free community.
That's a big
Everybody
thing.
involved.
Big thing is no debt, right? Pay cash for everything.
Yes, and or at least there's like specific baby steps that he recommends. Like the first one is saving $1,000 before you start doing anything else. It's like your little baby emergency fund.
Yep.
The second one is paying off everything but the house. And
Even
the
car
third
loans.
one is create. What's that?
Even car loans.
Yes,
Yeah.
car, student loans, personal debt, get rid of all the debt in baby step 2. And that might, once you aim all your money at that debt, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He recommends the debt snowball. So baby step 3 is saving your full emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months expenses. And if I didn't have the emergency fund in my life, I'd be up a creek without a paddle, for sure. I've had a bunch of stuff just happen recently that if I didn't have the emergency fund, awesome.
That's great.
And then,
there's so many. What is it?
Yeah.
I've heard a stat. I don't even know exactly what it is, so I'm gonna butcher it. But it was like 90% of people couldn't afford a $400 unexpected expense, right, or something along those lines.
yeah, it's something in that ballpark. The emergency fund has, especially right now with things going, if I didn't have I had all the stuff that I had to deal with my car. So I have, Randy, an additional layer of that. I have what's called the budget buffer. So you can have your emergency fund. That's for when it goes down. Like that's like you lost your job.
Yeah.
That's like major health emergency. That's what the emergency fund, like I pretend it's not even there.
Yeah.
But the budget buffer is 1 to 3 months expenses in your checking to cover all what goes wrong. And that would be when I go to get my car inspected and I have $1,300 worth of stuff to do. That's,
It's not necessarily an emergency, but it is unexpected. So
that you got to deal with. So my budget buffer also saves. That's right in your checking account.
So that's a Kaden like hallmark, I would say. So
other people would probably call it runway. They might call it like what's the other words? A cushion.
Yep.
But in Kaden world, it's called the budget buffer,
yeah, it's not
baby.
quite the absolute emergency, like you said, losing your job type stuff. But
yes, and Dave Ramsey, they do like sinking funds where it's like a vacation fund or a car breaks down from that. I have it in one. It's one giant, not giant, but it's like 1 to 3 months. It's so big. I'm just kidding. It's just 1 to 3 months, and it's right there in my checking for the in case it happens, because it's gonna happen.
It makes a ton of sense. I wish the borrowers that I worked with on a lending side of things also had this sometimes, but not everyone can manage to save the 3 to 6 months and then the 1 to 3 on top of that. It definitely takes some effort, and I think it's good advice for sure.
It's so hard. But it's possible.
Yes, it's definitely
If
possible.
this single mama can do it, you guys, everyone can do
Absolutely.
it.
Now, so Dave Ramsey was the initial inspiration. Are there people that you continue to follow along the way, or is anyone in particular come to mind?
Yeah, there's some great channels now. Like there's one speaking of blow you away with like progress. There's this couple called Under the Median, and they started out, when I suggested them to other people, I swear they were around 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
In frugal living and budgeting world, it's kind of hard to get up there, especially on the frugal living tip. I also talk about minimalism a lot, but they have reached over 100,000 subscribers in 2.5 years.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. So stuff like channels like that, and they're also so sweet and so kind, and we're friends. We did a collaboration together,
awesome.
but channels like that, yeah.
That is so cool. Now, when you have 30,000 followers or 100,000 followers, people are going to comment on your post, and like you said, you've already gone live with people, and there's that level of communication. But do you ever have negative comments that you have to deal with? Like people are like, I don't know what you're saying, or like people are attacking, or like I don't know how that part works. That must be a little bit of a head game.
Yeah, it can be so tough because sometimes the people. So my community is called the KSquad.
Okay.
We have merch, we have KSquad sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff. And the KSquad members that are used to me, that are part of the community, that contribute each week and show up every Friday, it's very minimal out of our community. However, there are trolls that love to come by and just say cruel things for no reason, or will take one little thing and try to pick at you on that. And at first, oh my gosh, it used to crush me on the inside.
You're a human being.
Heartbroken, like, because in this kind of thing, you know how people say, like, don't take things personally. This is my personal contribution to the world. My choreography, if you tell me my choreography sucks, like, these two things literally come from me and my experiences. If you tell me I did a bad job in my day job, I'm going to take that personally, but I'm doing what I'm told. You know what I'm saying? Like, your day job for many is like, you're making your boss happy. When I am the boss and you are attacking that, it's harder to deal with. But I've really learned to separate troll activity and true criticism in a way that I can grow from.
Yeah.
But it took a little bit. It makes me want to be...
Well, when you're doing this stuff, you're really putting yourself out there. I think it takes a lot for people to put themselves in front of a camera, share their opinions, share their thoughts and learnings and all that, and to have someone kind of come at you for no reason. That whole the whole idea of trolling people online is such a weird thing. I don't quite get it, but it is something. So you're obviously dealing with it better over time.
I would never spend my time on people's channels saying negative things. Like, I would never waste a minute doing that. Me personally. So I don't understand why people do, but
I guess if you have a big enough following, even a fraction of 1% is somebody. So one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about was the economics of having a YouTube channel. Not getting into the specifics, but you're at the point with 33,000 subscribers that there is some income component of this, right? So you're able to make money off the merch. Yeah. You're able to make money off advertisements on YouTube. Did it start to snowball at some point? A little bit?
Yeah. It definitely grew over time, and it's so exciting to see that grow. So, like, I make money from ads in your AdSense from Google, the merchandise, affiliate links. Like, if I say I got this book on Amazon and I leave it in the description and you click on it, I get a small percentage of that. But it's kind of fun. You think, like, oh, well, you've got 33,000 subscribers, like, you must make it. It's definitely grown, but I can see how it takes. It's like the followers, it matters as the numbers, but it's the watch time that really adds to that. Like, if people watch your videos and they keep watching it, that's what's going to get your videos to more and more people. But yes, it has definitely grown. I'd say from the first year I did it's probably double.
Really? That's great. What's your end game with this? Just see how big you can get it, see how long you can do it. Like, is there a plan to make this be your full-time job at some point? What do you hope for the future?
Later on, I would love for this to be my full-time work. I would love to write a book that goes in collaboration with what I share each week. Right now, I 100% have a book in me, probably more than one, but it's just a matter of getting it together and really doing this to it. I have hours of content that I could do that. So I want to write a book, and I would love eventually this to be full-time.
I think the idea of writing a book is such a cool thing. I think it's such an accomplishment. And like you said, you have plenty of content. I had someone on a couple weeks ago, a good friend of mine that wrote a book, and it just kind of floored me when he did it. So if someone has that in them, I think it's just a cool thing. And I look forward to seeing you do it at some point. Yeah.
Thank
awesome.
you.
God, I can't imagine.
I'll come back and talk about it if we get there.
Keep in mind for the press tour for the book.
Perfect.
Well, that's the main stuff I wanted to run through today. I really appreciate you taking the time to kind of go over anything. Is there anything that I missed that you would want to get out there? Or did we cover a lot of stuff at least this first time we talked?
I think we covered a ton. I would say the main thing that I hope the reason people keep coming back to my channel, or if anybody's watching this for the first time and it's something you're interested in, hopefully I bring value, I bring motivation and encouragement, Randy, because sometimes, like I said, initially I started this hoping to help other single moms that were feeling overwhelmed and just like looking for some direction, but it's completely gone out to literally anyone concerned with their finances, which should be hopefully anyone and everyone to a degree, you know. But I take care of the KSquad. They message me, I email with them, we have our lives. Like, helping people is really important to me.
Now, what's the best way for people to find you? Obviously, go to the Kaden YouTube channel, but what other ways?
Yes, the YouTube channel is the best way. YouTube is my hub. Like, come to see me on YouTube. TikTok for some fun, and then I'm on Instagram and Facebook too, also for. And
I'll share some links when I post the show too. So good stuff. Well, thanks again for coming. Appreciate you taking the time, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Randy. Bye, everyone.